All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about the Kren-Ear Project Meta. So this is an IEM that you technically cannot buy right now, and you actually won't ever be able to buy again because it was a very limited run from the creator Crinical. He's actually started his own company. This is not like a collab with other companies, which he's done in the past. And I honestly wanted to do this video because I wanted to shine or shed some light on the fact of how big of a deal this is. A creator on YouTube, somebody that actually had a website or has a website, reviewing and giving measurements to all these different IEMs. He's actually even opened his own headphone store, and these are only available on his website, which is hangout.audio. I will have this in the description, although you can't buy these at that store. And I think Kren just kind of underestimated how interested people would be in buying a project that he's fully over. Like, he started a company, he's taking a chance. This isn't like slapping your name on a box from another company and that like you had some input on some tuning. Like, this is doing everything from the ground up. So this is very risky for a lot of people. So first off, huge congratulations to Kren on the success so far. He said in his video, and he actually told me whenever I saw him at Can Jam, that he was only going to release like 500 of these initially. And if they did well, he would release up to 1,000 or maybe 999. And then that was it, like no more after that. So when he initially did his video this week, the first 500 sold out, and I think it was like in 40 minutes. And then he decided to do another update video telling people that, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the next batch, which would be from 500 to 999. And I think it sold out in like 20 minutes. So technically, like in an hour's time total, he sold 1,000 IEMs. And I think this is gonna just be a big step for what his company's gonna be able to do in the future. So, you know, again, big congrats to Kren, and with all of that kind of out of the way, let's kind of talk about the IEMs themselves. First off, look at the packaging. Look how clean everything is. Everything is black, and you just see Project Meta in the middle of the box in like this gold foil. Everything is very simple when it comes to the design of these. And again, this is kind of a departure from when he's done collabs with other companies. Usually they're like brighter colors. On the box, you have these anime girls. Like, this is far removed from any of that. Now, that's not a knock on any of those companies, but I really like the simple design that he has here. Now, as far as what all he's included in the box, you do get a really large carrying case. Now, I think some people are going to be completely happy with this because it's crush proof. You do not have to worry about, you know, anything that's in here, which would be your IEMs, the cable, the ear tips, and everything that they've included. But I would have liked to have seen something a little bit smaller to carry these around in. Now, as far as the ear tips they have included, you get 3 sets of silicone ear tips, and then you're also getting 3 sets of foam ear tips, basically small, medium, and large in both of those. Now, I am not a fan of foam ear tips, so I would have liked to have just seen maybe another different style of silicone ear tips, because ear tips make a huge difference in how your music comes across. It can change the sound just as much as going into an app and messing around with an EQ. So again, I would have liked some options there, but I was completely fine with the silicone ear tips that were included. Now, the cable is a 2-pin oxygen-free copper cable, so it is using that 2-pin connection. And on the other end, it actually allows for an adapter, which they've included 2, where you can have a 3.5mm plug-in or a 4.4mm balanced plug-in. And this again is huge if you're into audiophile gear at all. It's always nice to have these kind of options. Now, moving over to looking at the IEM itself, again, it goes to the theme that these are very clean. They're very simple. There's nothing like extravagant about it. Again, it kind of matches the box where it is just black with a little bit of gold text in here. The body itself is made from an anodized aluminum. The nozzle in here is 5.8mm, which is kind of on the smaller side, but this is pretty common, so it is going to be pretty easy to go out and just get other ear tips, ones that you may prefer to use on these. The IEM itself is extremely comfortable. You can tell it kind of went for a somewhat custom design, trying to get these to sit in your ears pretty well. I had no issues with these moving around. Now, I do want to talk about the price of these. When I met Crin at CanJam, he said that these were going to be $299. So when he released his video announcing the release of these, I was kind of surprised that he announced them at $249. Now, I am going to say he doesn't give any kind of information on the drivers being used in these. I have no clue. He wouldn't tell me at CanJam. He didn't say it in his video. It doesn't say it on the packaging or anything. If I had to guess, I would say it might be like a single dynamic driver mixed with maybe 2 balanced armature drivers. And the reason I say this is because of the way that I think he went to tune these. Now, he did use the Brule and Care Type 5128. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. He was using this measurement system to tune these. And I love the fact that he didn't go with a flat approach with these. In fact, in his video, he said he likes bass and he wanted to really pull out the bass in these. And I think he did a really good job here, but I still would not classify these as a bass heavy IEM. Now, I know some other reviewers have. I think some other reviewers have even said that it's excessive when it comes to the bass. And I don't feel that way. I feel like I would have even liked to have these boosted, maybe even a little bit more in the low end. But the good thing about the low end is it is a little bit loose, so it's not trying to be accurate as far as that flat response, but it is still very fast. It is still able to keep up with like every hit of the drums. It's just giving you a little slight rumble. Again, I would have liked to had it boosted just a little bit, but it's always going to come down to personal preference anyway. Now, when it comes to the mid-range in these, I was extremely happy with this. Like, vocalists have so much characteristics. It does have a slight warmth to it, which just kind of makes everything sound natural. Whether it be male or female vocalists, certain instruments just have this nice, like, slightly forward approach, so it never got like buried into the mix. Again, this is big because, trying to bump up the low end in some things usually can start to muddy up the rest of the sound, or it can start to kind of like congest the sound overall, and I never had any issue with this. Now, when it comes to the treble, again, I noticed some people saying that the treble could be a little too bright. I did not experience this. I felt like what Crin was trying to do here was stay away from having a flat or reference sounding IEM that's just kind of boring, and just bring out things just enough to give it that dynamic tuning to make it a fun IEM to listen to. So I really, again, like the approach that he had here, but I am going to say this does affect the soundstage and the sound imaging. It is not the most open sounding IEM that I've heard. I feel like the best way to explain these from that perspective is it gives you kind of an intimate listening experience. It kind of feels like you're in a room with the artist, and it's not like in a huge concert hall. So, if you like this wide open sound that's flat, this is not what, I don't think this is what these are for. But the huge plus is being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. I never had an issue with this pair. So my overall opinion is it really doesn't matter what my overall opinion is. You can't buy these, but I would have definitely recommended them at their $250 price point. I think that these are definitely competitive with a lot of IEMs in this price range. They're competitive with IEMs even in the $400 to $500 price range. I am going to say though, if you are an extreme bass head, and all these other people that are saying that these can get bass heavy at times, or maybe it's a little too much, I don't agree with that. I am a huge fan of the Eco OH series, like the OH1s and the OH10s. Those were bass heavy IEMs. Those are some of my favorites, and I don't feel like the Project Meta is even close to those when it comes to the low end. I feel like the Project Meta is a lot more accurate. It's a lot more cleaned up in the low end. It does give you a nice punch. Just, again, don't go in thinking these have like that subwoofer type bass like some of the other people are explaining these to have. But the rest of the sound signature, again, I think a lot of people are going to be happy. I think he tuned these in a way where it is very consumer friendly. And again, I'm proud of Crin in general I love this being the first step in what he's doing. I think it proves that he's going to be successful with the new company. So again, although you can't buy these, I felt like it was worth doing the video, not only to shine a light on what he's doing, but these are still some really impressive IEMs, especially at this price. But guys, that's my video on the Kryn Ear Project metas. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.